Stacy the Blackfeather Intuitive, and welcome to Divinely Decked, Tarot and Oracle Reviews done Stacy style. And today we are doing another tarot tag, and this is attributed to the Hermit's Cave. I just discovered this. He released it like 3 weeks ago, and of course I'm a little behind the times, just too busy, but loving these tags. And so today we're going to be doing the tag called The Deck That. And this got me really excited because I've often thought about that. Like if I were to create my own tag, what might that look like? You know, the deck that did this for me or the deck that did that for me. And it was like he was reading my mind. You might think he was psychic or something. So we are going to dive on in here. And the first tag is the deck that reflects who I used to be. Now, I could have chosen a number of different decks, but the one that I decided to demonstrate and share with you guys is the Osho Zen Tarot. And this came at a time in my life when I had off and on for years tried to learn how to read tarot. I was using the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot, having no idea what I was doing. I was trying to do everything with my left brain. I was trying to memorize. I was trying to, memorize 50 keywords per card. And I mean, if I told you the story of how it all started, it was crazy. All I'm going to say is I went through 2 packs of Post-it notes for one deck of tarot cards. And I also audio recorded all of the meanings and was listening to that throughout the day and at night, desperately trying to memorize tarot. And thank God for my mentor, my very first mentor. I call her E. She goes by Betsy with everyone else. That's another story for another time. Her name is Betsy. I call her E. And I showed her this, deck of cards when we first started working out, and she saw all of the Post-it notes on it. And she was like, "So, how's that working out for you?" I was like, clearly not very well. I don't know what to do. I've paid a couple of different, readers to kind of teach me tarot, and it just doesn't seem to stick. I don't think I can read it. And she introduced me to the Osho Zen Tarot. And she at the time had, I don't know, it was like 75 different tarot decks, all in these really cool boxes in her house. And she told me to go into the room and, pick one out that I liked. And she picked this one. And this was the very first reading that I did where I didn't have any, preconceived idea or notion of what the cards looked like. There was no book for me to evaluate or to, crutch into. And she had me give her a reading. And that was it. That's all she wrote. And here I am today, 12 years later. So this definitely reflects who I used to be. And I was very insecure. I was hiding in the spiritual closet. I did not understand myself at all. I felt so isolated and alone. And this deck really opened me up to being able to access my gifts that were always there in a way that I want to say just kind of worked. It made sense. So it's been around for a really long time. So I'll just kind of show you a little bit. I think, actually, I don't know who the publisher is of this one, but it's kind of like a little bit larger than the traditional tarot card size, the Rider-Waite-Smith size. It does have a little bit of sheen to it. It is reversible-ish if you're not paying too much attention. Decent, ish quality style cardstock, I would say kind of US Games-ish. But let's just take a look. What I loved about this deck was, the imagery at the time was very unique to me. I had not seen a tarot deck that presented like this. I was used to the traditional symbols. So I loved the color. I loved the fact that the image helped me to figure out what this card actually represented, because that was the thing for me. I was so in my head, so Miss Perfectionist, having to get everything right. Here's the rainbows is pentacles in this deck. So 7 of Pentacles is patience. And this was perfect too, because each of these cards has a key word on it. And this helped me to open up, like get out of my head. And it kind of gave me like a cheat word. It was like a cheat sheet where I was like, oh, okay, there's a word on here that is going to help me to kind of access what is naturally wanting to come through in terms of giving somebody a message. And so once I started with this deck, I feel like I worked with this deck for 2 years solid, maybe 3, but I don't think I worked with it for 3. Well, maybe I did. And I worked with it personally a lot to really get to know it. I actually did a little bit of kind of a journal study with it on my own. I didn't know what the hell I was doing with that. It was more about trying, again, I think, to memorize. But it was like accessing my intuition first. This is one of my favorites. No thingness. This is the Hierophant card. I think it's just brilliant. Trying to access my intuition, but then also like on the heels of that, stepping into a space where, okay, what does the card actually really mean? In my intuitive hit, did I get it close? Did I get it right? You know, so this card deck really brought me kind of on a really cool journey. I love this breakthrough card. This is just incredible. And that's the Justice card, is the breakthrough card. So we'll just go through a few more. I mean, this has been around for a really long time, so I'm sure you guys have seen this before. Going with the flow, guidance. I loved this. Like, it's soft imagery, but the imagery still gives you, like, we look at the burden here. 6 of Swords. And normally 6 of Swords is like moving on to calmer shores, right? Well, you can see this guy is on the other guy's back. He's pretty burdened, but he's taken off the burden of this other guy. They don't look very happy. But when I would get this in a reading, it would actually give me something to kind of work off of. So if my first intuition or my first impression was connected to frustration or sadness, this image gave me something to kind of go on, you know, something to, and it boosted my confidence is what I'm trying to spit out. Adventure, letting go, you know, just really, really pretty. And I'll be honest with you, like, I always have to think about it when I'm, you know, if I ever pull this card deck. It's very rare now. I kind of retired it for myself, just because, again, it was a part of who I was, not who I am today. And the me of today is much more confident. The things that I look for in a card deck are a little bit different now. But, like, I'll never give away this deck. You know, this is Stacy history, right? Stacy memorabilia. If anyone ever cares when I pass on, you know, if there's anyone that actually wants any of these things and this stuff to remember me by, you know, this has energy. This has a story. This is a big part of my story. And I feel really strongly about that. So yeah, this definitely is a card that I want to say reminds me of a version of myself. And I'm proud of this version of myself because she fought a lot of obstacles. She fought through a lot of fear and, you know, fear of being ostracized. She lived through a lot of isolation, and, you know, here I am coming out of the rubble. The second prompt, the deck that surprised me the most. Now, there are a few that could have gone into this particular category, but I'm trying to choose decks from my collection that I haven't done already in some of these videos. And of course, we have Baby Neo. Thank you. Yeah, are you the deck that surprised me the most? Actually, you know what? My cats did surprise me. I am an animal lover, but I have never really been like a cat person. Like, I love all animals, and I never not liked cats. I just never had any cats. And I've always been a real dog person. And Mr. Neo here chose me. I was in a cat cafe, and he chose me, and that was it. And of course, I found out that he was a bonded pair. So it was like, oh, okay, why have one when you can have two at twice the price? Like, why not? In for a penny, in for a pound. So anyway, the deck that surprised me, I'm going with the Tarot of the Holy Spectrum. And this is by, I think it's James Voorhees, if I'm not mistaken. Just such a talented artist. I want to say his vision for this tarot deck is pretty, I want to say, kind of, it was revolutionary for me, at least when it came out. And I was at the time going through a tarot class and really trying to expand my horizons. And this was a deck that was kind of suggested through a couple of people that were in the class. And when I took a look at it, what I really was drawn to were the colors in it. So I'll just show you here. So obviously, solid black imagery, which of course I love. Cardstock is excellent. It's like firm, but not too firm. It feels like it's got that matte finish. It feels like it could be water resistant, waterproof, shuffles beautifully. And though you can't see it with this particular color yet. Okay, don't mess with the camera. Thank you so much. Is color. He uses a lot of color in this deck. And when I was first looking at it, wow, you just have to be in it all the way, don't you? So when I first was looking at this deck online, I was drawn to the color, but I was not drawn to the imagery. And so I didn't know how I was going to feel about the deck. And truth be told, when it first arrived, I was very disappointed. I was like, I don't think this is a deck for me. I wasn't like disappointed in the quality of the card. Okay, you need to move along. The card deck or anything like that. It was a stylistic thing. But I thought, oh, okay, I've made a mistake because this style is not my jam, and no offense to male creators, because there are a ton of like amazing male creators. I have a billion different decks by male creators. But I could tell like it was a very masculine style, a very masculine approach to the tarot. And at the time, I was just kind of struggling with that a little bit. And so I didn't know how I felt about it. But when I actually started working with it and I opened my mind and I gave it a chance, wow, was I ever blown away. And so this is definitely a deck that I want to say, like, it could have also been in a different prompt here that gives the best readings, because it really opens my mind in a way that is unexpected. Like for example, here's the Two of Wands. So it's direction, right? And I love the Two of Wands. And when the Two of Wands shows up, I'm a happy girl. I'm very excited. But this is like, okay, she's in a boat and she's just barely, like, it's almost like she's on the shore still. So like she's getting ready, but she's like putting her oars in the sand rather than in the water itself, right? And so it gives me that, like, I have to think about this for a second. I really have to think about this and say, what is the deeper meaning? What is the deeper message here? Why are her oars in the sand? Is it that maybe the message is that I am trying to put the cart before the horse? That I think I'm prepared, but not quite. Like I'm tilted in the right direction, but there's a step that I got to take before I can actually do it, which is like put the freaking boat in the water. So, it's just, I want to say it surprises me with its messages because it helps me to really see my question, my queries in a way that is, again, unexpected. And that's quite frankly what I need. I can talk myself in and out of anything. I can be ridiculously so about it. So this is kind of a deck that I really rely on to show me things that I am, either refusing to see or subconsciously just don't know exists. And it allows me to do a much deeper dive into my situation and my circumstances. So yeah, just really cool imagery. This is great. This is, Four of Pentacles. So, I have a love relationship with the Four of Pentacles. It's a card that has a deep meaning for me. Four of Pentacles and Four of Swords in particular. And this one is really interesting. I like it because that Four of Pentacles, whenever it shows up, it's like, okay, where are you in lack? Where are you not paying attention? Well, she's sitting in a forest. She's surrounded by all of this abundance and she's looking up. So it's the energy of shifting the perspective to see what really is actually around you, what really is the truth. And I mean, look at the deliciousness of these colors. It's just saturated. It's very vibrant. And I love the black, the dark. I love that it's borderless as well. All right. So that is card prompt 2. The next card prompt is the deck that intimidates me. So there were a couple that could be on this list, but I decided to go with the nameless one, a tarot and oracle deck. It is an absolutely gorgeous deck. It's one that I've shown it on my channel before. It's one that I sought out. I was looking for a tarot deck that did not have keywords, prompts, archetypal names, nothing. I just wanted imagery because I really wanted the experience of being completely intuitive. It was at a time in my practice, I don't know, I suck at time, but maybe like 3 or 4 years ago now, where I was kind of coming into a different phase and none of the decks were speaking to me in the way that they had spoken to me before. And I really just felt like I was doing everything by rote. Everything was just based on my knowledge and not my intuition. And so it's amazing that there are very few tarot decks that do not have keywords or prompts or the names of the archetypes on them. So this was one that came up, and it was very pricey at the time, but like, I'm not mad at it. It was worth every penny. Absolutely gorgeous. And we've got this huge book that, truth be told, I rely on when I'm working with this deck, because when I look at the imagery, some of the images, it's pretty clear what it's referring to, the archetype that it's referring to. But for the most part, sometimes I look and I'm like, I have no freaking idea whether this is a sword or a pentacle or a cup, or if it's a major arcana or a minor arcana. It has these beautiful sigils in there. So, just look at the artistry here. It's just stunning, absolutely stunning. The card backs here, the beautiful card backs. It's a beautiful sigil. Here we have a fox. It's definitely, I want to say, I was going to say it's definitely a wand because I'm seeing a wand, but then I'm also seeing a sword here, a dagger. And there's a cup. So maybe this is a magician because we're getting the cup, the coins, the dagger, and the wands. So this intimidates me because it intimidates my perfectionist. The perfectionist within me is what it intimidates. But when I choose to read this for myself on my own, what happens is I just am forced to go totally into intuition. I'm seeing the pomegranate. Okay, so what does the pomegranate symbolize to me? The below, the underworld, the seeds of the shadow, the fruit and the nourishment of the shadow. So then reading this and seeing a snake, okay, there's the healing of the shadow that needs to take place. It happens to be wrapped around a dagger, which would indicate to me, okay, perhaps this is a sword, but maybe not. I don't know. So as a result of that and my, perfectionist mind, I tend to shy away from pulling this card deck unless I have a lot of time to be able to tap into the book. This is definitely a 2 of Swords. So the imagery is beautiful. The imagery speaks to me. It just does exactly what I wanted it to do, which is force me into my intuitive space. And yet, even doing that and being forced into my intuitive space, I still resist. And, there it is. There you have it. That seems to be the, I want to say, like, the bane of my existence. But the imagery is just, honestly, it's breathtaking. Like, look at all this. We have a rooster. The rooster is upside down now. So I don't know whether these are supposed to be upside down or right side up. There's a lot of death in these ones. This has got a scythe on it. This might actually be the death card for all I know. And then this also has some oracle cards too. So like, to add insult to my perfectionistic energy, I can't even count on, like, okay, there's 78 cards in the deck. So let me go through and figure out each one, because there's also oracle decks thrown into the mix that have their own meaning and their own purpose. So yeah, I would say definitely this is a deck that, that has intimidated me for a while. It doesn't stop me from engaging with it, but I want to say it does stop me from engaging with it often, simply because I need to have the right amount of time to really connect with it and go from there. But I mean, the presentation is absolutely gorgeous. It comes in this incredible box. Like I said, it's quality, shiny paper. Everything is in color. And, you know, there's this beautiful ribbon with it. So, yeah, loving this deck. And also, really, I have to be in the right headspace to work with it. Okay, the next one is the deck that is pure comfort. Now, this is another deck that I have featured a couple of times on my channel. This is the Crystal Visions Tarot by Jennifer Giacoso. And yeah, it's pure comfort for me. So it's a US Games. So you get that typical US Games cardstock and size and style. It's reversible. The colors are just luscious in here. Absolutely luscious. So let's just take a look here. Two of Pentacles. Whenever I want to say, having a really bad day, whenever I'm really stressed about a particular question, or I just want to do like a single card pull, either for comfort or for like yes, no, or just for like clarity on a situation. How am I feeling right now? What is it that I'm missing right now about this situation? You know, those kinds of questions. But I need it delivered in a way that I can receive it. This is the deck that I go to. And I just love, I mean, like, look at these pictures. Like, the colors are gorgeous. The faces are gorgeous. The artwork is really beautiful. This speaks to me, and it gives me what I need, but it gives it to me with a little bit of sugar. And I feel like that, you know, I want to say that's not never a bad thing, because never say never, but I want to say that is something that I feel we as tarot readers all need. Is we need that deck that really is pure comfort. Because there are times when, yeah, you know, hit me with it, you know, give it to me straight. But then there are other times when it's like, no, I'm tender. Don't beat me up. The world is beating me up right now. And if you beat me up with another message, I think I'm going to break into a billion pieces. And so just give me some hope. Give me some guidance. Give me the truth, but give it to me with a little bit of love. And that's what this deck does for me. It's pure comfort. This deck, oh, here's an extra card in it. I forgot that it has that card, the unknown card, which I actually pull quite a bit. This deck feels to me like a warm hug, you know, on a really bad day. And I live alone, so like happy to live alone, happy to be a single girl, have been for quite some time. But there's at times, you know, when you're going through something, it's those times when you wish you just had, you know, someone there to just kind of hold your hand or give you a hug or touch your arm or let you know it's going to be okay. And, you know, yeah, I got lots of friends and whatnot, but, you know, shit happens. Life is busy and people are busy. And so sometimes you just, you know, you got to comfort yourself. Well, this is the deck that comforts me. Look at that Fool card. Like, she's just gorgeous. Everything in this deck just makes me happy. Even these pentacles, even the green is appropriate, right? For me, like it all just really speaks to me. So that is my deck of pure comfort. The next one is the deck that gives the best readings. Okay, so there are quite a few that I could go with. And I'm going to just share with you guys that I'm going to do two here. I'm going to do a tarot deck and I'm going to do an oracle. Because originally I couldn't figure out which tarot I wanted to pull. And so I pulled the oracle deck that gives me the best readings. And then this one popped out at me and I was like, oh my God, of course, yes. So this is Unveiling the Golden Age, a Visionary Tarot Experience by Izzy Ivy. This is a blue angel. The box is ginormous. It's absolutely beautiful. Presentation is great. I think this is a couple of years old now. And she does a lot of these, you know, sort of alien-esque, galactic, Pleiadian, Lemurian sort of artwork, and she does a lot of downloading with her artwork. Like, check out the size of this book. it's a novel. It's a novel, and this is, you know, this is tarot study. this is how I like to use this deck too. It's tarot study as well as, pulling a card. And so I often use this deck at the beginning of a year or the beginning of a particular cycle or a project where I'm doing like a large card spread. And I mean, the information comes through, it hits me every single time. It's really powerful. So I like these cards because they are matte. They have an absolutely gorgeous back, definitely reversible. It's got that beautiful matte sort of rose petal finish. Oh, and here we have, this is the Fool card. Tickled by the free spirit, the muse. So this is a deck that uses, like, renames all of the cards. 7 dimensional shifts of the crystalline, the chariot. So it gives you the keywords. It lets you know what's going on. But like, this doesn't look like a chariot at all. What you're seeing in here is all the sacred geometry, right? And it's done in these beautiful, luscious colors that kind of transports you into a different realm, a different world. Helps you to really think outside the box. And this is why I really like this when we're talking about giving the best readings. A stone circle, 6 of portals. Portals is cups. So, looking at this card, I'm thinking pentacles, coins, but that's not. It's 6 of portals, 6 of cups. Mountain, paladin of earth guardians. Earth guardians in this deck is pentacles. Here's the high priestess, the wisdom of the sacred. And so very alien, very Avatar with those beautiful Avatar colors. Cave, 8 of earth guardians. It's a larger style, but not too large that it's, awkward to shuffle. And again, I have big hands. But like even people with smaller hands, easy to shuffle this way. They're like butter. Smooth like butter. Here we have harmony and adversity. And this is the other thing too that I really like, this 5 of light codes is wands. This deck has some serious ass energy that comes off of it as well. So you can even meditate with the card and it transports you, into a different place or into a different perspective on what's going on. Heartfire, 3 of activations. Activations are swords. Rainbow portal, paladin of portals, that's cups. Celestial tree, Knight of Cups, celestial tree of the infinite Akash, the suspended one, the hanged one. So I love that there's like it's Gaia type energy, but with that galactic feel. And that's definitely my jam. 9 of activations, angel light. So 9 of activations is 9 of swords. This definitely does not look like any kind of traditional 9 of swords that I have seen, right? And yet it's still based on the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot. Waterfall, priestess of the earth guardians. Roots, 8 of portals. Attune and recalibrate, 2 of activations. This is a deck also that really works well with other decks, with other oracle decks, so that you can get that pairing message with all of that. So yeah, love the Unveiling the Golden Age Tarot. I also have her Light Code Apothecary. That is an oracle deck rather than a tarot deck. And I like it, but I don't love it. And I think part of it, it's really based on like the chakra system, which I'm all about. I love anything chakra related, but I find almost like the messaging is a little simplistic. So I tend to really always lean into the Unveiling of the Golden Age. Here's the Oracle deck that I'm going to share with you that gives the best readings for me. And this is the Kali Oracle from Alana Fairchild. If you've been following me at all, you know that I really do enjoy Alana Fairchild decks. I have just about every one that she's created in this, kind of style. It's a blue angel, so, you have a really good quality box. The imagery is rich. Everything is very quality. We have here a very solid guidebook that I use. You can see already, like, there are certain pages that I bookmark, I keep suspended, because there's just so much in here. But I will tell you, this could have also been like a deck that intimidates me, because when I first got it, I was just learning to work with Goddess Kali in my healings and in my readings. And I mean, she's a freaking intense, badass energy, like not like me at all. And yet she's chosen to work with me. And so when she comes in, like, I'm so grateful. And I think that's why I have a little more confidence now. And, I'm a little bolder in I want to say, my calculated risks as a result of channeling her and working with her and having her work through me. But I mean, she doesn't fucking mess around. Her messages are like punch you in the gut, slap you in the face, snap out of it, wake up. Here's what you need to do. And so standard Blue Angel, larger sized oracle, sort of reversible if you're not paying attention too much to the sigil in the center. Absolutely gorgeous. It's a matte finish. And I'll just show you some of the imagery. And I love working with this deck. This is also another deck that I don't tend to show on my channel or work with on my channel or with clients, because yes, I could read it intuitively, but the information in the book is just so powerful. And of course, I'm sure there are many people, Indian folks and others alike, who know more of the culture and the names of all of these aspects of Kali and the different gods and goddesses that are depicted here. I don't. So I want to really get the message, and the message always hits home. Like, check this out. When you get this message, it's a slap in the face. It's ooh, I need to pay attention. This man is wearing some serious skulls. So is he coming after me because he's going to try and take my skull? Is he showing me what I need to look at for myself? Maybe these are, souvenirs, and maybe I need to acknowledge myself. He's got, a bowl of hot coals here. Like, what is happening? What is going on? What is the message? And the message is always really on point. Look at this. So bright, so vivid. Vishvamata. So I just love, I love connecting with this deck, because when I am really struggling, when I've got like a lot of questions and I can't seem to get any kind of answer with, when I'm feeling defeated, when I'm feeling out of control, this is the deck that I come to, because guaranteed she's going to straighten me out. And she's going to not only straighten me out, but she's going to leave me with a very clear path forward. And I just love that. So yeah, that is the Kali Oracle from Alana Fairchild. And highly recommend this deck. It's also helped me to get over my fear of kind of Kali's energy, because it is pretty freaking intense. All right, this is the deck that is too pretty to use, but I still love it. And this is the Ethereal Dreams Tarot. And I got this on a Kickstarter, not realizing that the creator, like it says tarot, but the creator is actually like a playing card creator, and decided to throw their hat in the ring with tarot. And at the time I was looking for a deck that I could like give to my husband at the time, now my ex-husband, who is open. No, I want to say who is non-judgmental. Well, I don't know. Maybe he's open but judges a little bit. I think is maybe the best way to put it. He's a great guy, but when it comes to all this stuff, he doesn't buy into it. He doesn't, believe any of it. He was fine with me doing my thing, but it wasn't his jam. And he loves to play poker, and he always has a poker night once a month with, with his friends from work, and they would come over. And so I was like, oh, like I can get him a really cool deck. Like when I found out, oh, okay, this is like playing cards, I can get him a deck. And then I was looking for those playing card decks for him. And then I found this tarot deck. So it is absolutely stunning. I'm going to tell you, though, I don't really know that it's by Model Society, by the way. Sorry, I should have shared that with you here. MindsEyePlayingCards.com, Model Society. I have not truthfully, worked with this a ton, just because it is, in essence, a deck of playing cards. It doesn't really kind of match with the Rider-Waite-Smith meanings, but the imagery is just so stunning that, you know, it's beautiful. So, like, why not? So here is our Ace of Clubs, and I believe clubs is wands, if I'm not mistaken. It is on a glossy finish, and here's the back. And, you know, we have this beautiful image of a woman on the back. Just go through some of these. Here's the Hermit card. Fuzzy, please. Thank you. Here we have the Hermit card. So like you can see, like, okay, she's in sort of like a fetal position. She's trying to rest. Sorry, I'm trying to get it without reflection here, and without cat. And that just seems to be impossible for me today. Raptor. So this is one of those extra cards that is coming up. There's a lot of nudity in this as well. So another reason why I'm not wanting to use it on my YouTube channel. Okay, Fuzzy. So Mama needs you now to move along. I love you, mean it. Thank you so much. Peace. I love this with the peace dove. The World card. So it's very artistic. It's very much that kind of artsy energy. Judgment. So this fits in a little bit more with the Rider-Waite-Smith traditional. You know, she's playing a flute. There are souls that are rising from a garden. Here's the Sun card. I'll show just a couple more here. Here we have the Moon. Hopefully this video doesn't get flagged. Here's the Tower. So it, you know, it's got impressions and hints of, but really it's just, I want to say this is just a deck that is extremely artistic. And, you know, learning to read with a pack of playing cards is kind of a cool, I would call it like a cool novelty. Here we have a Libra card in here. That's the other thing. I don't believe in this deck that they have all of the signs. They just have some of the signs. And I don't know if that was part of the sort of the Kickstarter campaign that they, you know, it was like opening certain levels that you opened. But here's like the Taurus card. Here's a Jack of Spades, Queen of Spades. So this is Swords, Queen of Swords. Ten of Swords. So yeah, this is my deck that is so pretty that I really don't use it, but I love it anyway. And it's kind of strange for me to actually purchase a deck that I don't use. I'm the girl that gets excited about finding the new clothes at the store and gets the, you know, the sales associate to cut the tags off so I can wear it out. So having a deck that I don't use just seems kind of weird. I'm not that person that buys something just to not use it. All right, the next prompt is the deck that made me fall in love with tarot again. Well, this is an easy one. Excuse me, Fuzz. Thank you. This is the Chromatic Fates Tarot, and I have featured this a number of times now on this channel. But this, I just got this year. And I'm not going to say to you that like I was in like a tarot crisis before this year, but I will say to you that I was in a creative crisis and really in this space and the phase of not understanding who the fark I am, you know, going through a major transformation. And all of the tarot decks that I'd had, I was just kind of like meh with all of it. And you know, I think we've all kind of gone through that where you just get to that space of nothing is connecting with me anymore. And a lot of it has to do with, okay, you're moving into a new phase of yourself, you know, a new phase of your life. And when this came through, I was like, oh my God. In fact, this is the deck that got me wanting to do my own reviews, my own deck reviews. So as you can see, we've got beautiful gilding here. We've got filigree on the cards. It is reversible. The card backs, they're matte, a beautiful matte finish. Kind of like I would say almost like a sateen actually finish. And this is a collaborative deck. And the collaborative decks are often hit or miss. So when I was looking at it on Etsy, I wasn't sure if it was really going to be, you know, kind of what I was looking for. But I thought, well, you know, why not? I'll give it a shot, because sometimes with these collaborative decks, there isn't any cohesion. You have a different artist for each card. You talk about the theme of it, but every person has their own, sort of perspective on what that is. Trying to just adjust after Mr. Neo has messed it all up. Here we have 4 of coins. But the beauty of this deck that I have found is that there is quite a bit of cohesion. And the deck really does have its own unique story to tell. I love the colors in this deck. I love the gilding. Every card has a little bejewel bedazzle. This one is like all sparkly. 4 of Wands. Look at this, one of my favorites. Queen of Cups. She looks like she's, drinking her wine. There are a few wine images in here too. There's a Page of Cups. Creativity. Oh, this is one of my favorite Judgment cards. Check this out. Have you ever seen something so beautiful, so unique, kind of futuristic, loving the color in all of this? Here's a Knight of Swords that is a little bit of a traditional nod. Here's the Empress. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, 2 of Cups. This is one of my favorite 2 of Cups expressions, that they're meeting each other through the mirror. Mirrored images of one another. I think that's just great. Here's 5 of Coins. The Tower. Look at this tower. Oh, like this deck speaks to me. This deck and I have many conversations, and I always feel like when I connect with this deck, I'm getting the clarity that I need. Here's the Temperance. Here's the World. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. Here's the Devil. Even the Devil. I mean, the Devil's pink. Who would have ever thought that a devil would be depicted in a pink color? Peach, 2 of Coins. Here's the King of Coins. Knight of Wands. This is cool. 5 of Swords. She's solo. She's on her own. Kicking ass and taking names. 6 of Cups. There are a couple of images in here too, like I think it's the 9 of Cups actually, where she's just sitting drinking her wine. Oh yeah, and this is another one. Check out this star card. Like, a star card is always going to tell me whether or not I'm going to connect with the deck, and that star card is like, oh yeah, I'm all in. You had me at star. Check this out. 10 of Wands. You've got 2 hands, the statue of the hands, and each of the fingers has a wand in it. But it's one hand holding the other hand, burdened, held back. Very interesting. 8 of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. Just, yeah, this deck, woo! This deck got me really excited, and that excitement has continued throughout this year for myself. And I needed that, to be honest. I feel like, this tarot tag, the deck that feels very therapeutic to me, like connecting with these decks, like it has meaning. I'm not just showing you a deck for this or a deck for that. It's like, no, these decks, this is why we love tarot, because tarot helps us to heal. And I feel like the Chromatic Fates has helped me to heal, helped me to kind of figure out the new version of me and who I am. All right, so the deck I wish more people talked about. So that could have been the Chromatic Fates Tarot, so we can add that into the category. And then also the Soul Sparkle Tarot, and this is also a new deck to me. I've had it now for, I want to say, under 2 months, maybe 2 months, and it feels like we've been together for years. Like we've been in relationship for a really long time now. And I got this through an independent creator. And I mean, my God, again, a lot of this filigree, just gorgeous, gorgeous cards. It does come with, with a book that I actually don't use. I don't feel that I need to use it because the images on the card are so powerful. They tell their own story. Here you can see we've got the Infinity. So the cards are definitely reversible for those who read reversed. The card quality is exceptional. Flexible enough, but, not too flexible. Durable gilding, traceable gilding on everything. Check these out. 10 of Pentacles. And every card Just like the Chromatic Fates Tarot also has its own glitz, its own Bejewel Bedazzle Knight of Pentacles. The coloring in these cards too just really speaks to me. Really speaks to me in a big way. Here's the World. And so it's definitely based on that Rider-Waite-Smith Wheel of Fortune. So check out the World and the Wheel of Fortune. They're similar, but different enough that you get the energy. You get the right energy off of it. Here's Queen of Wands. Judgment. I love that they're all kids. You know, it's truly that rebirth. King of Cups. Love that it's a woman. At least it feels like a woman to me. Three of Swords. Hi, Fuzzy. It's not time yet. Thank you so much. Queen of Cups. Four of Cups. Six of Cups. Apparently we're doing cups today. Nine of Wands. So yeah, this is definitely a deck that I think more people should talk about, more people should know about it, because the messaging, the stories, the guidance that comes through in these cards is astounding. It never disappoints. It never lets me down. And when I pull clarifying cards from here too, like the message is instant. So it triggers my intuition. It opens up that psychic palette, but it also, like, you can read it just straight up. If you don't feel that you access the psychic and you just access the intuitive, this is definitely a deck that will speak to you if you like the imagery and you like the color scheme and everything. It's very unique. I love that it is. I'm not really a huge fan of like bordered tarot so much anymore, but this came in a number of different styles, and this was the one that I chose. I could have had a black border, but I wasn't feeling it. And I was shocked by that because I always go with the black, the darker. But I am not mad at this at all. I'm so glad though. And I feel like the white kind of brings out all of the messaging, all of the filigree that is on here. Look at this Magician. Just like, wow. Here's the Strength card. Yeah, so this is a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous deck. And it's called the Niveus deck. And I found it on Etsy. I was doing a deep dive on Etsy. I was like desperate for just like a different style of tarot. I didn't want something mass produced. I wanted something that really was going to stand out, but that was also going to speak to me. And if I was going to invest in the money, I wanted it to be worth it. I wanted it to be a deck that I could really fall in love with and fall in love with for a long time. Now, part of that is just me. You know, I'm a Gemini moon, so, you know, I can get like, I'm into a thing. I get obsessed with the thing, and then, okay, I put it away. I've processed the thing, and now I'm on to the next, right? I think a lot of us are like that, but me more so, I would say, than the average bear. But this one, yeah, this is just like, this is like, well, it's a soul sparkle. It does. It sparkles my soul. It speaks to my soul. I feel like this is my soul speaking to me. And so it's fabulous for that. Okay, now we have, feels like, this is the deck that feels like a secret between us. This could have been a couple for me as well, but I decided to go with the, it's the vintage Japanese tarot. And I believe it was like 1983 was when it was created. I also got this on a shop on Etsy. It came, I think, from India or something. The shop owner is in India. And it comes with this, quite frankly, very useless pamphlet. You don't need it. You get an access, a QR code. But this deck, I don't know why, it just called to me. And you guys are going to chuckle a little bit because all of the decks that you see, like, it's bright colors, bold this, bold that. And this deck is very, I want to say, like, black and white. It's sort of that minimalist approach. It's, it's very Asian in its style of things. It's rose petal finish. And it basically is like the cream and the white, the black and the white, and then one single color. And when I read this, like, these cards do not really, like, they're all based on the Rider-Waite-Smith. tarot, but they don't like the imagery doesn't follow suit. And yet this deck speaks to me. So when I am pulling this out, this is definitely a deck that if I'm doing a reading with this, I want to have some time to digest. I want to have some time to really sit with the messages, because the messages aren't on the nose. The messages come through feeling the imagery and really sitting with it. And I love using, companion oracles with this. But honestly, I don't pull the oracle for a while until I've kind of like sat with the card and sat with the prompt and let it kind of absorb me almost, or me absorb it, like Three of Cups. This doesn't look like a Three of Cups. There are one, two, maybe I feel like these are two people. Maybe there might be a third person there, but they're not in celebration with each other. They're all kind of doing their own thing. The Fool, this does look a little bit like, the Fool tarot, the Fool card. Page of Cups. So Page of Cups typically is about creativity. So this is like, when I look at this, I'm like, okay, so I'm looking up at the stars and I'm, playing, oh, there's a bunny, there's a cow, there's a frog, there's a ship. So look at this. This is Two of Coins. Two of Coins has like 25 people in it. So when you're sitting with this deck, it doesn't really reveal itself to you in obvious ways. You really have, it makes you work for it. It makes you work for it. And that's why I feel like this is a great card deck for this particular prompt, that I feel that there's a secret between us, because this deck knows me in ways that I don't often share, right? I keep those parts of myself maybe to myself or for myself, but this deck has been let into that. And I don't let every deck in that way, which I think is kind of interesting. Check out, this is Queen of Swords. Look at that. Just breathtaking. Temperance. The Devil. The Cherry Blossoms. Love that. Three of Wands. We'll just wrap up here. Ace of Swords. The Lovers. And Knight of Swords. So yes, this is the vintage Japanese tarot, and OMG, it definitely holds my secrets, and we enjoy that secret between us. Okay, the next one is the deck that defines my tarot practice right now. This one was really tricky, so I have two. I could have gone like a number of ways with this, but I decided to, and I'm trying to feature decks that I haven't featured yet. But with this prompt, this particular tarot tag, like I said, I'm going deep with it. And so I have to be authentic. I have to be honest. It's not about trying to make everything different. It's about answering the question in a real way, to share some of myself with you as well. So Four Tails Tarot. I love this. This is Tarotteca. You can see it's like a book. It looks like its own little hardcover book. It's fabulous. Tarotteca, they don't provide guidebooks. They just provide the cards. They're in Poland, the Ukraine, Poland, I think. Fabulous. It's a magnetic, I almost said mechanical box. It's a magnetic box. And I have just about every deck that they have. This is a very unique deck because it is only the major arcana, but it is 4 different versions of the major arcana. So Four Tails Tarot, 4 different stories of the Fool's journey. And they have, different backs of the deck to identify the different, there we go. To identify the different, let's see if I can find here we go. So here are all 4 of the different ones, and each of them represents a different flair or a different feel with the tarot journey and the tarot story. And I love that. So let's just kind of flip over and see what we've got. Yeah, the Sun. This is one of my favorite Sun cards, and if you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm kind of hard on the sun card. I don't always like it. It takes a lot to impress me. This one impresses me. Oh, here we have the moon. And you can see a different style here. This is a little more, I want to say, kind of got that fantasy, realist fantasy. This has a little more anime feel to it. Let's take a look at this one here. Here we have the magician. We've got a black and white version of the magician. So cartoonish, or I want to say free drawn, or hand style free drawn. And then here we have the star card. So this is kind of like a style that's in between, I want to say in between these two. So a little bit of realism, a little bit of that. It feels like game, gaming energy. But let's just kind of take a look here and see. Here we've got the Hierophant, the Emperor, Justice. Oh, and here's another moon card. So let's take a look at, compare the two moon cards. So here we have one style versus the other. And you can see you're going to get different messaging in each of these cards. So the prompt is that this is the deck that defines my tarot practice right now. The fact that there's 4 different cards in here, it represents how I am in that shift. I'm in that transformation right now. And, every day it's a different mood. Every day it's a different need. It's a different desired connection. And I feel personally for myself that there's a lot going on that's very intense in the world. And so it feels like a very major arcana time for me. And I am affected deeply by what goes on in the world, simply because I read for a lot of people. And so I understand a lot of people's stories, struggles. I'm engaged with that. Oh, here's another moon. Here's another version of the moon card, if you want to take a look at that. So seeing the different styles of the moon, and you can see how you get a different message from each of those. So yes, this really helps me to get to the heart of it, to get the message clear and bright, to not mess around, but also it shifts my mood a little bit too. Sometimes it will reflect the mood that I'm in. Sometimes it will reflect the mood that I need to be in, and gives me actionable steps to really be able to move forward and to make that happen. Here's the Temperance. Fuzzy, it's not even time for dinner yet. Why are you being like this? Why? Cat, So yes, this definitely reflects, here's another sun card, the black and white. This definitely reflects my tarot practice right now, because I do need a lot of different. I do need a lot of support in that different, and I don't need anyone mamby-pambying me or trying to tell me that things are anything other than what they are. And this tarot deck does not gaslight. And that is exactly what I'm needing in my practice right now. So I pulled this deck out very frequently for my own personal readings. And I certainly pull it out when I'm really wanting to get a real handle on the collective, to be able to speak about it clearly. And the second deck that I've chosen is the Illuma Tarot. And this is Kalina Lux, Templis Aquaria. So I've featured this as well on my channel before. I don't believe I've done a full card review of this, but I can't remember. Excuse me, Fuzz. They don't want to see your butt. Thank you. But this is fabulous. So again, we come back to the bright colors. It is not reversible, but man, oh man, the electricity that comes off of these cards. It is a standard tarot size. It's an excellent cardstock. Not super flexible, which I like. It's durable. It is gilded, which is really nice. And these are images that are not what you would expect. These are images that definitely force, I want to say, intuition. They force an intuitive path. Excuse me, you have to move on. Thank you so much. I love the colors. The colors I feel speak the frequency of the deck. So when I'm working with this deck, it's forcing me to really connect with the frequency of each card. Page of Wands. And this card, actually, believe it or not, this deck brings me so much comfort. A lot of people, they look at this deck and they go, I don't even know how you can read that. Like, oh, I guess I read it like a pip. Or, like I understand tarot, so I'll just go based on the, the key words. But for me, it's a frequency. Each color that you see carries its own frequency. And I feel very much that that's what this card deck is about. Sorry for the shaking of the camera. That, of course, is once again our favorite stage cat, Neo, rubbing up on the laptop. Here's the Hanged Man. Like, check that out. It's great. He looks a little robotic, like an android. And he's got, this incredible halo around him. There's enlightenment that's happening. Here's the Chariot. Here's the Star. There's just a lot going on in here. And I feel like for me, it is the colors that draw me into it, which means it's frequency. So when I'm looking at the card, it's less about the meaning of the card itself as we know it from the Rider-Waite-Smith, and more about what feeling is it evoking in me in relation to my question. I love this Ten of Swords, like total Phoenix energy, Phoenix rising. So yeah, this definitely highlights my practice right now as well, because not only do I, Four Tails Tarot, need to not be gaslit, by my tarot deck and by my guides, but I also am really working at a higher frequency than is represented in the physical, in the 3D, in the everyday. And so this deck really helps me to connect in that way. All right, we got 2 more prompts left. The second to last one here is the deck that pulls me out of a rut. And this one, hands down, once again, this is one that I have featured with you guys. I haven't done a full deck review on it, but it is a Happy Place deck. And this is the Tarot of the Sacred Kingdoms. This is by Jen and Flo, Earth Moon Magic. That's who they are. Earth Moon Magic. I got this on a Kickstarter a few years ago. It's excellent quality. It's got a little bit of a sort of a sateen finish. So it's not completely matte, but definitely, as you can see, there's a little bit of a sheen, but not too crazy. We've got that nice border that's part of the design. It is reversible. And here we go. 7 of Cups. I've definitely shown this before. In fact, I feel like I always seem to flip open the 7 of Cups one. So I apologize if I'm showing you some of the same imagery here. I'll try to bring a little variety in. Here is the 6 of Swords. Let's move that out of the shine of the light. There, that's a little better. Wheel of Fortune. So this deck really speaks to me. It's absolutely gorgeous. All of the imagery really just it's like I get, again, plugged into my soul. And when I'm asking a question, even with all the court cards, the royalty cards, I sometimes have a hard time with royalty cards in getting out of my head and getting into the heart of what things are about. This deck, I never have a problem understanding, who it's representing or what it's trying to tell me. 6 of Wands. I love the way that it's bordered. So funny, I told you I don't typically prefer a border. This is all black, but the border is gilded, and it's gilded in this beautiful blue. Page of Cups, one of my favorite cards, favorite depictions for a Page of Cups. Speaking of cups, here's a 2 of Cups, 2 of Swords, 3 of Cups. So you're getting a lot of, elemental energy in here, but also there's a big focus on the person and the person's energy. What are they reflecting? What are they stepping into? Here we have the Death card. So you've got a lot of hope and light coming out of the dark of this Death card. Queen of Cups. I think that was another one that was featured. Knight of Swords, coming out of the dark. Eight of Pentacles, hard at work. Kind of a Merlin-esque feature, hard at work. Ace of Cups, I love this Ace of Cups. Queen of Pentacles, I feel like she's growing something and she's inviting you to learn how. I love this High Priestess card. I know I featured this before, just fan-freaking-tastic. Look at this Justice card, the Emperor, the Star, Nine of Wands. Here's the Empress. Just stunning. Absolutely stunning. Here's the Sun. Strength. So yeah, this deck, here's the Celestial Weaver. It's got 2 extra cards in it in this deck. This card deck definitely, I want to say, gives me the information that I need in a way that makes sense to me. And I'm always just drawn into the beauty of the cards. And so then it's a lot easier to receive maybe some challenging messaging that's coming through for me, or maybe a little checkup from the neck up. And I can take it. I can handle it with this deck. So it does get me out of a rut. It reminds me of why I love tarot so much. And I want to say, this deck is easy for me. It's easy for me. So, if I am in a rut and I'm like, oh, it's just too much effort to have to interpret what the fark you're trying to tell me, guides, I just don't want to. This is the deck that says, just kidding. I really do want to. Oh yeah, that's right. I really do love this. Oh yeah, I can interpret my own messages. Oh yeah, I do understand what the Tower card means for me. And this actually brings a little comfort, So this card deck definitely is a companion. This deck can fall into a number of different categories, to be honest. Look at that World card. Incredible. Yeah, can definitely fall into a number of different categories here for me. But yeah, it definitely gets me out of a rut. And last but not least, our final prompt, the deck that waits patiently. And this one's kind of interesting. I don't know if I have featured this one on my channel yet. This is also by TheDeckThatTag. And I do not have the box with me. It is packed in somewhere in another box in my garage. Same card stock and quality as all of the TheDeckThatTag. So it's got that nice rose petal finish, always in a black matte background. It is reversible. And these are borderless. And this deck, the reason why I chose it for It Waits Patiently is because there was a period of time when I got this deck, I want to say 3 years ago now, 2 or 3 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago, when I couldn't put it down. This deck really helped me to kind of open my mind to what tarot could be. And I worked with it quite a bit. I actually did a lot of work on my channel with it. I did a lot of work in my membership with it, my Black Feather community membership. And then all of a sudden, look at that 8 of Cups. That is just gorgeous. All of a sudden, something just kind of shifted for me. And I felt like, even though I can relate to this card deck, for whatever reason, I'm not relating to this card deck. And I just had to kind of put it away. And every time I get ready to, to pull cards for myself and I'm choosing a deck, this deck comes up for me. I look at it and I'm like, ooh, maybe today I'm going to connect with this one. And then there's always another one that sort of comes into the mix a little bit. And so I thought this would be pretty fitting for a deck that is waiting patiently, because it's not mad at me for not working with it. I feel like it kind of feels like it needs a bit of a break, because this card deck also, PS and FYI, went through one of the darkest times of my life. And I've had some pretty dark times in my life. And, the last few years have been really, really difficult. And this deck was here for all of it. And so I feel like this deck doesn't owe me anything, but I also feel like it understands. And so it's really been patient with me, and it knows, okay, I just need some time to clear out that old energy, reconnecting with that energy. It brings back memories and puts me in a frequency that maybe I don't need to be in at this time. And so I feel like I'm just getting all of this as I'm pulling this deck for you and showing you this deck. Is I feel like that's why it's waiting patiently, because it knows that it's going to serve me again in some really deep and profound ways. But it also recognizes that it needs to we need to meet again on a fresh note, on a clean slate, clean energetic slate. And I'm feeling that actually as I'm going through this deck right now, because I haven't looked at it in a while. I'm almost there. So yeah, I feel like it's waiting patiently because it knows me as well. Look at that star card. So fun. Ace of Wands, one of my favorite, all-time favorite Ace of Wands depictions. Five of Wands, focus. So guys, that is the Deck That Tarot Tag. Oh my God, I almost forgot. The VR Tarot Tag as an homage to the Hermit's Cave. And thank you, Hermit's Cave, for this incredibly insightful, very deep experience. I absolutely loved it. I can't wait to share this with all of you. And I've been seeing a lot of people have been making their own videos with this tarot tag as well. And I've been really enjoying seeing everyone's decks. So thank you so much for joining me for this. I hope you enjoyed it. Got a little peek into, the brain of Stacy. Not sure if that's actually a good thing or not, but here we are. And of course, thank you for being patient with Mr. Neo, being Mr. Neo the cat. And until we have our next video, I wish you all the best. I hope you have an amazing week, and we will see you on the flip side. Transform well. That's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was great to connect with you guys. Please like, subscribe, and comment for more content like this. And feel free to follow me on Blue Sky for even more content every single day. Can't wait to see you guys next week for another installment of Black Feather Couture, Divining the VIP Life.